Apple Chevrolet GMC Studios in the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Happy Wednesday. This is the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary with you as usual. What's up, Rico? Hello. Program. Dang.
Hello.
My bad, man.
No, you're fine. I should check it.
That's all right. How's it going?
It's going.
It's going.
Not fantabulous.
Yeah.
It's going.
I hear you. All right. So 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line, both those open for you guys as usual. Want your guys' participation. You guys have been great all day. Once again, that number 402-464-5685, Honda of Lincoln hotline, Starter Heyman text line. You can also join us on the video stream, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. Leave your comment there. We'll incorporate your participation that way. Also hit us up on our personal Twitters, Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. All right. So before we get too far into this, and I promise don't change the channel. Like we got a good show for you guys today. A little bit of news came out about Husker Baseball, some roster changes today, quite a few. So we'll talk about that here in a couple minutes. We'll also be joined by Chris Basnett of the Lincoln Journal-Star here at 2:30 to talk Husker football and a little Husker baseball. Now with the little newsworthy pieces coming out from Haymarket Park and Will Bolt's squad. So we'll discuss that here in a little bit. But first, let's go ahead and address the Uvalde stuff going on there. And DP really summed it up well this morning. And people may get mad that we're still talking about it on our fifth show of the day. But that's kind of the problem, is if you kind of get frustrated about it. You shouldn't kind of want to stop talking about it. And you can't get mad about somebody mentioning it. And DP has given me and Rico the hour from 2 to 3 to talk about what we feel is important, whether that's sports or whether that's not sports. And I think I speak for me and Rico when we say we believe that this is extremely important to mention and just discuss just for a couple minutes. Like I said, DP summed it up really, really well this morning. And if you missed any of that, you can check that out at the podcast page. And I know this is a sports talk radio station, and we'll have those folks that say, quote, stick to sports and things like that. But believe it or not, if you want to play that card, Steve Kerr did kind of mention a pretty powerful message and delivered one yesterday after the Golden State Warriors shoot around. And here's that for you.
I'm not going to talk about basketball. Nothing's happened with our team in the last 6 hours. We're going to start the same way tonight. Any basketball questions don't matter. Since we left shoot around, 14 children were killed 400 miles from here. And a teacher. And in the last 10 days, we've had elderly Black people killed in a supermarket in Buffalo. We've had Asian churchgoers killed in Southern California. And now we have children murdered at school. When are we going to do something? I'm tired. I'm so tired of getting up here and offering condolences to the devastated families that are out there. I'm so tired of I'm tired of the moments of silence. Enough. It's what we do every week. So I'm fed up. I've had enough. We're going to play the game tonight, but I want every person here, every person listening to this, to think about your own child or grandchild or mother or father or sister, brother. How would you feel if this happened to you today? We can't get numb to this. We can't sit here and just read about it and go, well, let's have a moment of silence. Yeah, go Dubs, Come on, Mavs, let's go. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go play a basketball game. It's pathetic. I've had enough.
And Steve Kerr walks out. So I'll be 100% transparent with you guys. I cut out some of what he said because he mentions, 50 senators in Washington, things like that. But my whole thing on this, I'm not going to sit behind this microphone and pretend to know all the bills that senators are voting on in Washington. I'm not going to sit behind this microphone, talk to you guys and pretend to know about politics because this isn't necessarily about politics. It's not whether you're Republican or Democrat, whether you're conservative. I don't care. Like I really don't. I'm sorry. And I'm not speaking for Rico on this because super touchy subject. And this is not about to be a political show. Like we're not making this that, because once again, I'm not going to pretend to know that I know. I'm sorry to burst your a political bubble, but I don't care if you're a Republican or Democrat. I don't care. Because at the end of the day, and I know people love when I say that, at the end of the day, not one single person will be able to sit here or tell me with a straight face that what happened yesterday wasn't insanity and that it's okay, that we can just shrug that off. So how we started this, whether you're mad that we're not sticking to sports, well, now it crossed over to sports because an NBA coach publicly said how tired and frustrated he is about moments of silence every couple weeks, that he is tired of walking up and giving condolences to families every couple weeks. So I guess if there's people out there that want us to stick to sports and want to play that card, there you go. We just crossed over into it because it does. Because what happened yesterday, what's happened the last couple weeks should involve and bother and frustrate the hell out of everybody. It's something that we as quality human beings shouldn't be able to just shrug off our shoulders and move on with our lives. That's my thought on it. Once again, don't care about politics. Do not care. However, as quality human beings, I don't care how you feel about gun control. I don't. Because what happened yesterday was straight insanity. So this is not a political discussion, but this is just kind of an awareness discussion. As maybe we should all be better human beings. And DP summed it up extremely well this morning. Extremely well. So with that, Rico, anything to add?
I really have nothing else to add. You did a great job. DP's done a great job. I just know that myself, my wife, when we heard about that earlier last night, we were sitting at home. KJ had just gone to sleep. Ellie was asleep on the couch. We just grabbed her. She's 2. She's turning 3 this year. She'll be in school in a couple of years. We just sat on the couch for about half an hour, just holding her.
Well, it's like just little things like that.
I can't imagine what those parents are going through. What the parents of the teachers, what the parents of the kids are going through right now. I can't imagine losing my kid, sending my kid to school with a smile, telling her, one of the kids, it was his birthday. Mm-hmm. He said he was terrified that, just little kid thoughts. He was terrified he wasn't going to be able to go home and eat his cake. Like, so it's just, these are little kids. They shouldn't be doing active shooter drills. They shouldn't have to wonder about where they're going to hide in their classrooms or if their teacher is going to hold the door shut for them so they can escape out windows or whatever. Like, these are little kids that should just be going to school, learning about the alphabet, learning how to multiply, how to divide, how to add, subtract, learning about, different states and capitals and trees and birds and all these kinds of animals. They shouldn't have to worry about this. You shouldn't have to put metal detectors at the front of your school. You shouldn't have 20 different police officers at your school. It doesn't need to be this way. It really doesn't.
So 402-464-5685, as you guys can imagine, and me and Rico knew that bringing this up would cause some reaction on the text line, and we've gotten quite a bit of it. We have this. I'm going to keep names out of this. Kerr is a fraud. They talk about gun law. Once again, we're talking about other talking about gun violence and things like that. Unnamed texter says this: I honestly did not want to listen to this again, but I think you guys did great. Jeremy says this: what does political stance have to do anything with it? It was a terrible act done by a terrorist. Like, once again, this was not me trying to bring up engagement with the text line. Like, I value opinions, and I'm a big proponent of the ability to have a conversation, the ability to disagree, and still do it in a respectful way. And so I'm all for that. But once again, I will reiterate this if you're just now joining me. I personally, Nick Sander, am not going to sit behind this mic and act like I know all the bills that are being voted on in Washington. I'm not going to sit behind this mic and tell you guys or make you guys feel like I know everything about politics, because I don't. And maybe that's bad on my part, and it's bad that I'm admitting that, but I don't, because it's a really messy situation. But what happened yesterday, not politics, just awareness of being quality human beings.
It doesn't matter what side of the political aisle you land on. Everybody agrees that this was terrible. Yeah. This was a terrible event carried out by a terrible, terrible human being with terrible intents. And it shouldn't happen. It doesn't have to happen.
Yeah. So, unnamed texter DP did not block you. You're good. He did not block you. Ryan from Nashville says, I can't even focus right now. Thank you for this. Bipolar says this. I hope you block anyone that tells you to stick to sports today. Thank you for addressing. And I did not want to take this whole hour. We're not taking this whole hour. Because once again, I don't know a solution. I wish I did. I don't know a solution. And that's why I kind of blocked out some of the things that Steve Kerr did say about, he mentioned senators. He mentions all 50 like voting. Listen, that's why I blocked it out, because that message was still powerful enough, and it still meant the same things without those comments, even if you believed they were true or believed them to be false. So I wanted to cross over and say to the people that do think we need to stick to sports, it does cross over. And this affects way more than the families. So with that being said, all right, 402-464-5685. Let's go to Husker Baseball.
Hard transition
here. We wanted to mention that, though. Once again, we'll be joined by Chris Basnett of the Lincoln Journal-Star here in a couple minutes. Talk Husker Baseball. So some news came out from Husker Baseball just a little bit ago. A lot of transfers. And I kind of mentioned this. I alluded to this earlier this week.
We really did, didn't we?
We did. So unfortunately, talked about how kind of after a season that Nebraska baseball had, you kind of expect some attrition, right? And it was more of the fact, like I brought up the name of Max Anderson, like you really hope that a guy of Max Anderson's caliber does not dip. And I don't think he will. But you wonder, what about pitching? Because there were some guys that just didn't pan out. And what about some guys that may have had a good year in 2021, but didn't follow it up with a strong year in 2022? What happens to those guys, right? Well, it was announced a little bit ago that 5 Huskers have entered the portal as of Wednesday. Excuse me, 6 now total.
There was another one.
There's another one.
I was going to say there was one
more.
more.
So there's 6. Yesterday, Leighton Banjoff announced that he's going to be entering the portal. Today, infielder Jack Stile, outfielder Tyler Palmer, and 3 pitchers, Braxton Bragg, Ethan Bradford, and Quinn Mason, have all entered the transfer portal from Nebraska. Now, obviously, Jack Stile is a pretty big one. Saw some time at first base. However, the most prominent is probably Braxton Bragg, who is a junior from Kansas City. He's a right-handed pitcher, settled in kind of as the closer in this year's squad. He had 5 saves this season, compiled a 3.28 ERA, struck out 37 while walking just 8 batters in 35 2/3 innings pitched. So big loss in terms of Braxton Bragg, because once again, we look at what Nebraska may return next year, and it is questionable whether or not Shea Shanneman's going to be returning. You don't know what the status of Kyle Perry is going to be. You don't know what their bullpen is going to look like with Colby Gomez, and whether or not he's going to be able to be a guy you can trust on the mound like it was in years past. You don't know how you feel. Obviously, Jacob Buns was injured. You have no idea. And then you look at starters, and like I said, Kyle Perry, Shea Shanneman are up there. as guys that could come back, but you don't know what the status of them are going to be like. And then you're going to have to replace Dawson McCarville. And more than likely, Nebraska's had to do that the last couple of years. They went out and got Chance Roach a couple years ago, who filled in nicely as a day 2 guy behind Cade Povich and in front of Shea Shanneman last year, or 2 years ago now. But now Dawson McCarville struggled this year and was actually taken out of the rotation at times. And so there's a lot of uncertainty. Now they have 17 guys coming in via the transfer portal / recruiting class next year. So a lot of potential,
and
a lot of youth.
You still got the young guys on your roster that didn't pan out that well, or at least didn't have very good seasons, entire seasons. So you've got talent on the roster that you hope you can develop into talent on the field to help you turn around what was a disappointing season. And like you said, 17 transfers / recruits coming in to help bolster the roster. It's just going to come down to, can those guys come in and help you right away?
Exactly. And so interesting take here on the text line. Unnamed texter says this: half the starters won't be starters next year. The only meaningful transfer is Braxton Bragg. The rest don't really matter. It's interesting. That I'm not necessarily going to agree with that. However, they are all second or third year players. So when we talk about experience, whether you're playing or not, it's like we talked about it last year, that a guy like, I bring up Logan Foster, who was a guy who had valuable time and was a starter for multiple years at Texas A&M, transfers back to Nebraska, does not play, doesn't have a very good season his 1 year at Nebraska, is still valuable to the program in terms of leadership and in terms of a guy that's played SEC baseball for multiple years at a high level and now come back and is a leader, whether that's from the dugout or maybe on the field once every 5 games. We saw that with last year with all the super seniors. Nebraska doesn't make a regional without all those super seniors. And that, I know that's a really generalized statement and a really obvious statement, but we can't forget that. Like, Mojo Hagee may have not had the greatest year hitting last year, but him being there is valuable.
A voice of reason, a voice of positive reinforcement, and what it's the experience that you get, even if you're not playing, the experience you get from being on the team for 5 years and from playing, in one place and another place, you get that. You can teach these guys, these new guys, how to travel, what to do, how to work out to improve their seasons or how to have better seasons. It's the experience that the older guys can impart, the experience and wisdom that the older guys can impart onto the younger guys that was missing from this year's team. Yes, you still have seniors.
Yeah.
It's not like you're missing seniors. You have seniors, but the 5-year seniors that you had last year just had so much more, just a wealth of knowledge to impart on, this year's seniors, this year's juniors, and what have you. So you're just going to have to hope that the experience that everybody got, since a lot of people played this year due to injuries and struggles on the field, a lot of people played this year. You're going to have to hope that the experience gained from actually getting on the field and playing can be imparted on the younger guys, or just the transfers coming in and having their first experience in their first year with Nebraska. Even if they're coming in from another Power 5 school or from a JUCO or what have you, if they played college ball before, it doesn't matter. This is your first year at Nebraska. It's different. Learning how to get around campus, learning how to get to practice, learning, the traffic schedule.
The things that we don't even think about.
This, like, you think about the play on the field and all the workouts and everything. You also have to consider, what buildings you have to go in for practice, who you're going to live with, who's your roommate, how long it's going to take you to get to practice.
So with that, and 402-464-5685, a lot of good thoughts on the text line. We'll get to those here in a second. What's interesting, even if these guys that were into the portal, like the unnamed texter said, half the starters won't be starters next year. Maybe that's true. And even if that is like we were kind of addressing the leadership aspect, that just makes the decisions of a guy like Griffin Everett or Efrain Cervantes carry that much more weight. Because this year, the problem was, and even talking to the coaching staff or talking to the players, it was, maybe we just weren't as ready to lead as we thought we were. Maybe we didn't understand how to lead like we thought we knew already. Like, if that makes sense. That's the truth. It takes something special in a guy to be a leader.
Knowing how to lead and learning how to lead
Yeah,
are two different things.
So maybe it was a case of they thought they were ready to lead, and then they got into the moment and they were hit with adversity, and they thought maybe we weren't as prepared as we thought we were, or we thought we would like to be. And so that puts the weight on the decisions of a guy like Griffin Everett and a guy like E. Fry that could come back, and even Shea Shanneman and Kyle Perry as well, carry so much more weight than they did 48 hours ago, is because now you lose a guy, especially in Braxton Bragg, especially in Jack Style. It's gonna be insane. Like there are gonna be some heavy and important decisions coming up down the road. Let's go ahead and get to break though. 402-464-5685. Wet Blanket says, guys, it'll be fine. If baseball is anything like football and basketball, players are better if they come from different programs anyway, or at least we think that every offseason. Shout out to Wet Blanket. Love the sarcasm. Love it. Dusty says this, isn't that a lot of attrition after one bad season following a conference championship? Yeah, it is
a little bit.
And it's probably not done yet. Like if you think about it, you also lost Tyler Palmer and Tyler Palmer and Jackson Jelkin throughout the season, or in the middle of the season. So you add two more names there. So they've lost a little bit in the last couple months, but they do have a big recruiting class coming in. And so we'll talk about that with Chris Basnett of the Lincoln Journal-Star. We'll also mix in some Husker football discussion as well, because Stephon Wynn's here. Kane Williams is here. Marcus Washington is in. We'll talk about all that with Chris coming up next on the Happy Hour.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
And now, poetry from the world of Yum. You need a treat, but not something predictable. Cookies, cupcakes, apple pie, it's all boringly typical. So here's a little rule of thumb. Take that income, avoid the humdrum, and get yourself to the world of Yum. The cakes are made for any celebration, every cause of elation, alongside every occasion. So get in your car. You would be remiss not to take that drive down to Beatrice.
Check out Grandma's fruitcake and all the delicious desserts at Beatrice Bakery. Welcome to our world of Yum.
Do you want your date to wait for your interlock device to let you drive? Your kids to ask why you have an ankle bracelet? Or your boss to see your criminal history? Do you want to miss important life events because of house arrest? Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
You know that feeling after a good, hearty meal? The worries of the world just slip away. Time slows down. Nothing but good times and good company. That's what you get with Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Mary Ellen's does food right, with a menu that includes smoked wings, pulled pork, brisket, catfish. And don't sleep on their sides, shrimp and grits, collard greens, baked beans. It's food that makes your heart happy. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, just east of 27th and Pineland. Let them fix you a plate.
Hey, it's Bach. Join me and Eric Strickland this Thursday at the brand new Double Eagle Golf Simulator Bar on West O Street inside the Kinetic Sports Complex from 3 to 6 p.m. That's this Thursday at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
Brown Shoe Fit is gearing up for spring with new inventory on the way. They're stocking up on new spring sandals and athletic shoes daily in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Keen, Merrill, On, and many, many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Atrax. Spring is the season to be active and busy. Don't let your feet lose their support with old rundown shoes or sandals. Stop by Brown's Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it's been a great start here to the year as 2022 new inventory continues to roll in. Our pre-owned lot remains full, and we are selling at a record pace. I was just down at Koppel talking about a new order for myself, and they let me know I can actually start ordering a 2023 here later this spring. So stop on in to get your new 2022, your pre-owned vehicle, or maybe talk about ordering here for 2023. Check them out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary, sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, back here on the Happy Hour on a Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Hope you're staying dry. The weather sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Say it, Rico.
Thomas.
The weather sucks.
I actually don't mind it because my AC is still broken. So.
Oh, that's true. And we're inside.
Yeah. I don't care.
402
doesn't affect me.
402-464-5685. Greg and Lincoln asks, is Tyler Palmer still a Husker? Unfortunately not. He just entered the portal. So he is not a Husker. We got him. All right, let's go to the Honda Lincoln Hotline, where we're joined by Chris Basnett at Lincoln Journal-Star. What's up, Baz? How's it going?
What's up, fellas? How we doing today?
Good. A little bit of news out of Husker Baseball. A lot of guys into the portal. I mean, what's this mean for Nebraska? Because they're all pretty experienced guys. I mean, should Husker fans be worried for next year?
No, they shouldn't. I think this was something that was pretty clearly on the way. And Will Bolt, while he didn't specifically say it after the game Saturday, he said they're going to take a hard look at everything in their program. That includes roster management, recruiting. And it doesn't take a math major to figure out that Nebraska's got now a 17-player recruiting class coming in the fall, and you can only carry 40 players on your roster. And so the math says guys are going to be leaving, and we saw kind of the first big wave of that today. So, not necessarily a huge surprise to see these guys on the way out, and won't be a surprise to probably see a few more on the way out here over the next days and weeks.
I guess so. How important is it, though? I mean, to have leadership on a baseball program? I know that's kind of a generalized question and things like that, but we kind of undervalued the importance of having all those super seniors 2 years ago. And then now this year, I mean, we kind of, that was kind of one of the discussion points, was maybe Griffin Everett and some of those guys maybe didn't understand necessarily the value of leadership. I mean, how important is it to have some of those older guys really know the value of leadership, if that makes sense?
Yeah, no, it's just as valuable as it is in any other sport. And all you have to do is look at Nebraska's baseball team from 2021 and look at the guys, look at the seniors, the leaders on that roster that weren't on the roster this year. You know, guys like, Jackson Hallmark, Joe Acker, Spencer Schwellenbach, Cade Povich, guys that had huge roles on that team, both on the field and were kind of butt kickers off the field in the locker room, and kind of kept everybody pulling in the same direction and kind of gave the team that edge and that maybe a little bit of extra that they needed to get over the top last year. And look, that's not to say, that Nebraska's guys this year, Griffin Everett and some others weren't good leaders. I'm not saying that at all, but at the same time, it's just a different personality. And those guys last year just kind of had that fire, had that personality about them, and that team followed those guys' lead. And so, yeah, it's hugely important. You've got to be right in the locker room if you're going to do anything on the field, and that's true of baseball. That's true of volleyball, football, basketball. It doesn't matter. It's got to be right in the locker room. It's got to be right on the field. And I don't know that it was ever just totally right in the locker room for that team this season.
We're speaking of Chris Basnett, Lincoln Journal-Star here. When you look at Nebraska baseball, I know one of the talking points, and this is kind of off topic, is kind of improvements to Haymarket Park. Where are we at? Because that was a big talking point after they won the Big Ten title last year, and everything kind of seemed to be looking up. I mean, where are we at in kind of improvements to Haymarket Park for Will Bolt and them?
Yeah, I think it's coming eventually. There isn't a specific timeline right now, and Trev Alberts, the athletic director, has been open about that, and open about the fact that Haymarket Park does need some upgrades, some improvements, some refurbishing, whatever you want to call it. It's a 20-year-old ballpark, and it looks like a 20-year-old ballpark that hasn't had any updates to it since it opened. So it's coming at some point. There's obviously some complicating factors there. Nebraska's trying to get the new football facility built. You're still coming out of the pandemic. What are budgets going to look like going forward? But those changes are coming. What exactly those changes will be remains to be seen. I think certainly you're going to see some student athlete type stuff pop up out there, and maybe some improvements to the park itself as well. But the kind of timeline run for that, I don't think that's really been decided yet.
We're joined by Chris Basnett of the Lincoln Journal-Star. One last baseball one before we transition to football. I mean, how big are the decisions of Griffin Everett and a guy like Efry that could leave but also could come back? Because they both can come back. Some of those guys, Kyle Perry's included in that. I mean, how big are those decisions now with the loss of a couple transfers that were 2 and 3 year guys, despite the big recruiting class coming in?
Yeah, they're huge because again, you have a certain number you have to hit roster limit wise for next season, and so at the end of the day, it becomes a numbers game. Now we don't know who may or may not be on the program, a week from now, a day from now, a month from now. I think a lot of that will come out, like as I said, in the coming days and weeks, and a lot of the guys that depart may not be those seniors, and maybe that makes that decision a little easier. But at the end of the day, you got to be down to a 40-man roster for the season next year. So at the end of the day, those guys are going to have to make a decision. They're going to have to make a tough decision. There's no doubt about that, because you look at that group and there's probably not a surefire, major leaguer in that group that says, you know what, if I leave, I'm going to go get drafted this summer. I just don't know if there's a guy in that group. So yeah, we'll see. The decisions are hugely important. Speaking for Kyle Perry specifically, that's maybe one of the guys you look at as a leader on this team, and one of those guys that has that fire. So his decision looms large, and obviously a guy like Griffin Everett too, who played a lot of baseball for you this year too. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch how that kind of all plays out here over the coming weeks and months.
This one just came to my mind, and maybe I'm way off in thinking about this or even bringing up this topic because they're, just a year removed from winning a Big Ten title. But how quick of how do you feel like Will Bolt is on making coaching staff changes? Like, would we be surprised to see changes after a down year as bad of a year as they had? Or are we still a couple years away from even having to think about that?
I would be shocked if there was any type of coaching change this year. Let's think about the first 3 years for Will Bolt in this program. 2020 ended after 15 games because of COVID. 2021 wasn't a full season. You just played a Big Ten only schedule. This was really the first full year this coaching staff has had with this team. And it's finally started to get back to normal, in recruiting. We were able to go out and meet guys in person, watch them in person, get an evaluation in person rather than, doing Zoom calls and things like that. So yeah, it would be in my mind, an absolutely stunning move if there were any changes to the coaching staff this year. And I think that's a long way down the road if it ever does happen.
Yeah, I think I would agree as well. Will Bolt just doesn't seem like the guy that would pull the plug quick, I suppose. We're joined by Chris Basnett of the Lincoln Journal-Star here. Okay, switching over to football. Nebraska, there seems like there's a little more excitement around the program than there has been the last couple months. They get the addition of Stephon Wynn Jr. a couple days ago, now Marcus Washington, but sticking back with the defensive line as a whole, how has your thoughts on that group, the defensive line group, shifted in the last couple months with the additions of Devin Drew and now Stephon Wynn Jr.?
Yeah, I think I'm probably not alone in saying I feel a lot better about it now than I probably did a month ago. Yeah. I don't think there's any question about that, because Nebraska, that was probably the biggest area of need on the football program. Again, just from a numbers standpoint, they needed bodies there. And from what you lost from last year and guys going into the portal after the season this year, they needed bodies, and they needed multiple bodies and multiple guys that could come in and play right away. And it's not like you can just go into the portal and just say, you know what, I'm going to take him, and him. It's not that easy. There just aren't a lot of those guys out there. And you look at what Nebraska's done. You bring in O'Shawn Mathis, you bring in Stephon Wynn, you bring in Devin Drew. You got 3 quality proven guys out of the portal that are probably going to come in and play a lot of football for you. Maybe all 3 start for you in that first game at the end of August. That remains to be seen. But yeah, I think Nebraska, if you ask them, they'd tell you they feel really good about where they're at right now. Is it ideal and is it perfect? Yeah, maybe not, but it sure is a heck of a lot better than it was a month ago right now.
Chris, how wrong is it for us to kind of pencil in Marcus Washington as a major contributor in the receiver room, given his experience and time with Casey Thompson?
Yeah, I think it's probably a little premature right now. You're talking about a guy that was, I think, 6th on the team in catches at Texas last year, playing with the same quarterback. So to expect him to just walk in here and become a starter day one I think that's a little presumptuous, and especially with a couple of the guys Nebraska's added at that position as well, and Trey Palmer being the obvious one that comes to mind. So, yeah, could he end up starting? Absolutely, he could. You don't go out and get these guys out of the portal if you don't think they're going to contribute. Does that mean that he's coming in and he's going to be on the field for the first snap against Northwestern? I don't know. That remains to be seen. He's obviously got to get integrated with his teammates. He's got to pick up the playbook, go through the summer workouts, the fall camp, all that stuff. It's a long, long way from being decided whether a guy like Marcus Washington will be a starter or not. But certainly Nebraska didn't bring him in just to sit on the bench.
Nebraska's kind of made a living out of the transfer portal this offseason. Is that something that we might be expecting from this coaching staff going forward?
Well, it depends if this coaching staff is here going forward.
That's another
year. Let's be frank about it. This coaching staff had to make some pretty dramatic changes. It's an enormous year for Scott Frost, and that's no secret. And Trev Alberts has made sure that's not a secret. The contract got restructured for a reason. Scott Frost needs to win more games, and he'd tell you that too. So I think a lot of what you've seen has been because Nebraska needs guys that they can plug in and play right away and that they think can give this team a jump. Now, are they going to go out and get 15 plus portal guys every year? Probably not, because if you're doing that, that means you're not doing a very good job of recruiting high school talent. Yeah. And, the portal is what it is. It's going to become a major player for every team in recruiting, and already has for most teams in recruiting. So you're going to see more guys come out of it just because of that. But at the same time, Nebraska taking 15 guys out of there right now probably tells you that this coaching staff is looking for a way to flip this thing fast.
All right, Baz, a couple more before we let you go here. What position group on both sides of the ball, offense and defense into account in this answer, do you feel the greatest about?
Oh boy, that's a great question. Defense, it's probably the linebackers, because you've got some experience there with Luke Reimer and Nick Henrich, and you're going to add a couple new pieces to that. But I think you're talking about guys that they're young, yes, but they've played a lot of football and they made a lot of plays for you. So I think you could probably pick between the linebackers and the defensive secondary on that one. But I'll take the linebackers just because I think they'll probably be a little less turnover there. Offense, man, it's tough to tell. I think you almost have to go quarterback, right? Because yes, you lose Adrian Martinez, but you're bringing in a guy that led the Big 12 in touchdown, or was a Big 12 passing leader last year and played at a big time university. You kind of have a proven commodity in Casey Thompson. Now, whether that translates to the Big 10 or not, we'll see. Who knows? But I just think there's a lot of question marks on that side of the ball. You're going to have a lot of new faces at running back. You're obviously going to have a lot of new faces at receiver. The offensive line was a weakness of that team last year. What is that going to look like? Fall, we just don't know. So maybe tight ends, the other place you look at it. Who knows what that's going to look like with injuries and everything else that happens. So yeah, it's tough to say I feel great about any one position on that side right now, but if I had to pick one, I'd probably pick quarterback just because you got a proven guy there.
Yeah, we're talking to Chris Basnett, Lincoln Journal-Star here. Last one before we let you go. They're over the scholarship limit by a couple. I think by my calculations, 3. They're sitting at 88 scholarships. I believe so. I mean, where should we expect some attrition? I mean, do you have a couple guys in mind that may move on from the program?
No, I don't think I don't have anybody specific right now, and you hate to guess on something like that because those are tough decisions, right? It's decisions that affect guys' lives, affect their careers, and things like that. So I hate to speculate on who specifically it might be. Yeah, you can probably start digging through the roster and looking at the numbers of different position groups, and maybe make some educated guesses as to what it might be. But at the end of the day, those decisions may not even be made yet, or certainly aren't public yet. So yeah, they obviously have some work to do to get back down to the 85. They may not be done adding guys yet either. They may add another person or two to this roster before it's all said and done. So we could be a ways away from seeing what it looks like, but yeah, certainly there's going to be some guys that are going to have some hard decisions to make here in the near future.
All right, Baz, this is a very important question. I need you to think about this one very hard.
Okay.
Would you rather have balloons back or steak on a stick?
Steak on a stick. I don't even have to
Great
think
choice.
about that. Come on.
Thank you.
Great choice. All right, Baz.
Why are so many grown adults mad that they can't play with balloons?
Thank you. That's such a good take. That's the best answer you've had all day.
Wow. Thank you. That's great.
If we can get steak on a stick, I'm hoping that me and you can share. Well, not share steak on a stick. I'm on my own.
You are right. We need to end this phone call immediately. It's getting out of hand.
All right, Baz. Appreciate the time as always. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate the time.
That is Chris Basnett, Lincoln Journal Star. Yeah, that was an interesting one. Maybe I should have the dump button over here just in case you.
Yeah. We're not going to share because I want my own steak. But
you guys can share one.
I hope we can.
You guys sit next to each other.
Yeah, we can eat steak on a stick together, but not the same one.
On the same
separate
different
ones.
sticks.
Yes, different steaks.
Different steaks on different sticks.
Yes, that.
Okay, perfect.
That's very hard to word.
Yeah,
I hope we can enjoy food together.
Yeah, but separate. All right, let's go and take a break. We'll wrap up Wednesday's show coming up next.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the happy hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. 93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank, a relationship you can count on.
Another damp and chilly day as rain showers are expected off and on through much of the day, becoming a little more widespread late this afternoon into this evening, only topping out at around 55, north winds at 15 to 20. Showers gradually wind down late tonight with a low down to around 48. We may sneak in some sunshine by late tomorrow with a high of 68. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Do you want your date to wait for your interlock device to let you drive? Your kids to ask why you have an ankle bracelet? Or your boss to see your criminal history? Do you want to miss important life events because of house arrest? Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Steve's Garage Doors and Services is under new management, but has the same great service as before. If your current garage door seems outdated or isn't working properly, call their new number at 402-480-2840 to schedule service or get a new door ordered. Steve's can repair most types of garage doors and can always point you in the right direction to get the job done. Give Steve's Garage Doors and Services a call today at 402-480-2840. That's 402-480-2840.
Brown Shoe Fit is gearing up for spring with new inventory on the way. They're stocking up on new spring sandals and athletic shoes daily in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Keen, Merrill, On, and many, many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Atrax. Spring is the season to be active and busy. Don't let your feet lose their support with old rundown shoes or sandals. Stop by Brown's Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Life after college has been great, but paying off my student loans, not so great. I needed a fast way to help pay off my loans. Then I found it, a research study at Celerio. I searched the studies and found a perfect match for me. It was so easy. I earned cash for the study and paid off those student loans. Plus, I made an impact on medical research. Find a study and sign up today at helpresearch.com.
You should consider the risks of the research before you agree to participate. You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 330 North 48th Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
If I won one of the 8 new trucks the Nebraska Lottery is giving away in Trucks and Bucks 2022, I'd be off-roading all the time through muddy riverbeds, across dusty prairies. I'd treat that truck like a tank. I'd be merciless.
Can I ride along?
Only if you wear shoe covers to protect the carpeting, promise not to eat or drink anything inside the cab, and polish the dashboard when you leave.
Trucks and Bucks is back, and you can win one of 8 new trucks. Top prize odds 1 in 336,000. How do you remember things? Post-it note, string around your finger, smartphone reminder? Whatever you do, remember Nebraska Pick 3 2x2 and My Day. 3 great Nebraska Lottery Lotto games that are all $1 per play with drawings every day. Nebraska Pick 3 lets you choose your own bet type. 2x2 has a $22,000 top prize. And with My Day, you choose a 6-digit date. Must be 19, please play responsibly. Oh, got a reminder. Produced Nebraska Lottery commercial. I'm all over that.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary, sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back here on the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick and Rico back with you. Jake thinks he has jokes. Came in moments before we came back on and decided to stand in front of my microphone.
He was trying to be you.
He was trying to be me. I understand, Jake. Nate's wearing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles shirt.
It's a great shirt.
Did you get that out of your closet?
No, I wish I had.
It looks
one.
like a schmedium. Why is Nate wearing a schmedium?
He only wears schmediums. You know this.
He's not big.
He's not. But he has to get smaller shirts to make it look like it.
Speaking of big, I threw my first bullpen last night, Rico.
Because you're getting ready to strike out VJ.
Because I'm getting ready to strike out VJ. The slider was working. The slider was working well.
He's not touching that.
He's not touching the slider. I'm going to make him.
I need you. You start off with the heater, and then just play a little bit. Just play a little bit.
Maybe I should start off with the slider.
Don't do.
Do I just start off? Just go 3 straight sliders because he's going to think that the fastball is coming.
Like DP said, don't start off with off speed. He has nothing to gauge. Hit him with the fastball right away.
Oh, Nolan has a hot take. Bach is probably a better Nick than Nick actually is. No way.
No.
Get out of here.
No.
Come on.
I do love Bach, though.
Mississippi Mud Dog goes, guarantee your slider ain't bleep, Nick.
Dang. I don't have a slider, so I can't.
Hey, Mississippi Mud Dog said that I used to suck. Now I'm adequate. So I'm starting to get.
You're getting better.
I'm getting better.
You're improving.
My time will come, or my time will be done when Mississippi Mud Dog likes me.
You know what that is, ladies and gentlemen? That's called development.
That's called growth. Getting better day by day. Getting better and better.
I've helped him grow so much.
Yeah, thank you, Rico.
I'm going to take all the credit.
Thank you. But anyway, my arm was feeling good this morning. It was feeling really good.
Mm-hmm. And now? Not so good.
Now it's not good. It's really hurting. Mississippi Mud Dog adds, Rico is the glue of the station. You have a good mentor, Nick.
It's true.
Come on.
It's true. I've helped you grow so much. And I'm very proud of you
Thank you, Rico.
From where you started to where you are now. I'm very proud of you. You've grown.
You hated me when I started.
I didn't hate you.
You did.
I just didn't like you.
You just didn't like me. And now look where we're at.
Still don't like you.
Still don't like you. Still hate you. Bubba says this. I'd send that slider to the moon. To the moon. No way. Baylor. So if you're into conference baseball season, the Big Ten has postponed today's games.
What? That's crazy.
It's like they don't care about baseball. I feel bad for Mark. Mark took off Wednesday.
Mark always goes to the Big Ten baseball tournament. Well, at least he did when it was in Omaha. He goes.
So he took off work today, and now it's postponed, and Nebraska's not in it. So you got to feel for Mark Onweiler. He came in, stopped in today.
Yeah, he came into work.
You could just see the sadness.
Like, you're not supposed to be here.
You just he sent a sad face. Yep. You can just see the sadness go over Mark's face.
Mark, we love you.
But anyway, Big 12 baseball tournament is going on right now.
Yeah, remember that.
The 8-seed Baylor and the 1-seed TCU are in a tied ball game.
Why are you looking at the ump's elbow?
Yeah, I know. They're tied at 2 in the top of the 8th. They're playing at Globe Life Field, which is where Nebraska played TCU back February 26th.
I think the Big Ten should play in a major league park.
What major league park would the Big Ten play? Wrigley.
Target.
No, it's Wrigley.
Target Field. 100%.
I mean, they've had the Big Ten tournament at Target
Everything
Field.
should be in Minneapolis.
You a big Minneapolis guy?
I don't know why, but I think I am.
Are you a Minnesota Twins fan?
No.
Are we having a
No, actually, I love the Minnesota Twins because they cannot beat the Yankees in the postseason.
I gotta see if the Orioles won last night.
They have not won. No, they lost.
No,
walk off.
come
Jose
on.
Trevino.
Okay, how's my man Adley Rutschman doing here?
I have not seen his name. Pop up very much.
I Google the Orioles and all of a sudden I just see Gleyber Torres continues to dominate Orioles pitching.
He hit like 2 or 3 home runs last night.
Come on. So they lost 7-6 last night. If you have not heard, I'm a new Orioles fan.
Yeah, he's an Orioles fan now.
Love the Orioles. Adley Rutschman went 1 for 4 last night. All right, can't win them all.
I mean,
can't win them all.
Getting to sea legs.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, exactly. He's a rookie. I mean, come on. Give him some credit.
Can't win Rookie of the Year unless you start. So
good point. Let's see where he's at here.
He is nothing.
Orioles.
No, I'm not a Twins fan.
Yeah,
I
he has
just
2 hits.
I just for some reason really like
no.
Minneapolis. I don't really know why.
Is Adley Rutschman bad?
Seems like a great city. And I think everything should be there.
Dude, is Adley Rutschman bad? He's 2 for 14 this year.
Oh, he's playing again.
He's hitting 143.
It's great pitching.
Oh, no.
He came up versus the Yankees. It's great pitching, dude. It's okay.
That's true. Nestor Cortez might be the best pitcher in the majors right now.
He might still have the lowest ERA in at least the American League. He
Man.
might. I could be wrong.
Well, that's a shame.
Nestor
All right,
Cortez,
so
best pitcher in baseball.
Adley Rutschman might be bad, but we're still an Orioles fan. We're sticking with it. Sticking with it because they have Trey Mancini.
Wrigley Field wouldn't be terrible. For the
Wrigley
Big Ten
Field would be
tournament.
sweet. It would be awesome.
I'm trying to think of other ones. Oh, you play in Milwaukee?
Nah.
Why not?
I feel like
is that a Big Ten
I feel like the Big Ten would have to be outside.
Outside?
It wouldn't have to be able to be like a closed roof.
I'm trying to think of other. Cincinnati.
Great American Ballpark. Is that still Great American Ballpark?
I think it is.
I don't know. They changed the name so much.
Detroit
would be interesting. Ugly idea though.
Very disgusting.
Yeah. All right, that'll do it for today. Appreciate you guys hanging on through the first segment. A little sad, but we're all good. Just be good people. Appreciate Chris Basnett for coming on. Don't worry, Husker Baseball is going to be fine. I'm going to take Chris' words over mine. So Nebraska Baseball will be fine. But we're done for today. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See ya.
Adios.